So Rob, C1?
C1, yeah, C1 Crystal Lacquer. So this product is our base coat, one of our base coats, very, very durable, bonds chemically with the surface and gives very, very good swirl resistance. And critical thing with this is that this is compatible with all matte and satin paints and also older technology paints, so cellulose paints, etc.
Okay, Rob, so we've got C1 here.
Yep.
Application, preparation side.
Exactly the same as Crystal Serum Light. So you use the panel wipe first, again, golden rule, get that surface with no polish residues on it, get the maximum amount of bonding on the surface, and that's, you know, I can't kind of emphasize that enough. It's really, you know, you spend so much time getting the car perfected, just that little one step makes quite a big difference. So spread the product the same way, 2 foot by 2 foot, overlapping, and then obviously buff so that there's no residue. Make sure you've got good diffused light source and you're away. I would always say, you know, normally for regular finishes, so for standard modern clear coat cars like this one, you're always better off with Crystal Serum Light. That's going to give you a better performance. Actually, it's an easier product to apply. C1 is, it's still a very, very good product. We keep it in the line simply because we know it's always, for matte. So CSL is not compatible with matte and satin finishes, and it's not compatible with some solid non-clear coats. It doesn't work particularly well. Some it does, some it doesn't. So, it is the kind of get out of jail free card. You know that's going to work if you've got a solid paint, or if you've got an older, like a cellulose paint and matte and satin paint. So with C1 there, it's safe on matte and satin, and it'll just enhance that. So if you've got a black matte finish, it's just going to look even darker. If it's kind of a light color, it just really creates like more lust in terms of, it just makes that color pop, for want of a better word. So that you'd put on first, and then you can overcoat that with EXO as well, with matte and satin.
Okay, I noticed in these there's different style pads to what you get in CSL.
Yeah, so that's, with those ones you get multiple kind of makeup style pads. This is because this product actually cures hard into the pad, so you will have to jettison the pad. So I think there's about 5 in there, so that's enough to do a vehicle. So I would suggest you probably want to do a large panel per pad, and then you're doing maybe a wing and a door with another pad. So factoring around. Whereas with Crystal Serum Light and with EXO, those are not products that go hard in the pad or in the cloth. And again, actually, that's something with the buff cloth, with C1, with the buff pads, with the microfiber. Once you've removed the residue, any residue in there is going to harden in the pad. So those pads should never be used on paint again. So just use those for engine bay work or something like that.
Yeah, sort of downgrade there.
Correct. So they kind of go to the bottom end of the pecking order of microfibers.
Okay, so we've got the 30mm here. I've noticed.
Yes.
Questions we get asked quite a lot.
Yeah.
What size do I need?
Okay, so it's 30mm will do everything up to 3 Series Saloon, I think. So 3 Series Saloon is going to be 30. Anything bigger, you want to go 50.
Okay. So in regards to storing these products, how best?
It's the same place where you got your bottle of Chateau Lafite 59. You store the open bottle. No, don't store it in a fridge. There's a lot of people saying we were putting them in fridge. Actually, a fridge will cause condensation in the bottle, and because this is a product that works with condensation, it'll actually promote curing. So just keep it in a dry, cool area, like you would keep. Where would you keep wine? Or just in a toolbox is fine. And we recommend, once it's been opened, you've got 3 months to use that product up. C1 probably a little longer. CSL is really that reacts fairly quickly, so just be careful with that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So Rob, C2 V3?
So C2 V3, this is a ceramic coating. It's a siloxane. It does have a covalent bond with the surface. What it's there for is to give that hydrophobic performance. Extremely easy product to apply. You can apply even when the car is wet. A lot of people use this as a drying aid, and you're going to get around at 6 months durability out of a single application.
Rob, so C2 V3.
Yep.
Can you talk to us about this product?
So C2 V3, this is it's extremely hydrophobic, dirt repellent, adds gloss, adds slickness to the surface, designed to be extremely easy to apply. So you can either apply it to a dry car. We'd normally recommend you spray onto one microfiber, spread and buff with another one. The only thing to watch for is if the surface is very hot. I mean, most people will know not to work on a car if the surface is very hot. But if you do get a bit that is hard to remove, you just get another microfiber that's relatively quite damp, and then reactivate it and then buff it, and then you can get the residue off. You'll get 4 to 6 months of durability out of it. And you can also use it, on a wet car if you're like me, that you like to do things well, have economy of effort, let's put it that way. You can actually just spray that, you can spritz it onto the panels when the car's still wet, and then just dry the car, and you actually coat the car while you're drying it. And that,
is this just on the paintwork?
Paintwork, it actually works quite well on glass as well. Okay. So you can use it on everything.
So once
really.
You've washed, rinse the shampoo off while it's wet, spray it onto the
Spray it onto the surface,
and it'll act like a drying aid.
Yeah, and then it bonds again. It has a covalent bond in it. It's a siloxane-based product, so it's a ceramic product, and durability from again, if we come to that whole thing of ease of application, price, and performance, this hits it on every level. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
So Rob, Halo.
Halo is, again, that's a very new product. So this is based on completely new silane technology that we've developed from scratch, designed so that it's extremely easy to apply on all types of film. It's compatible with matte, satin, self-healing, older technology films, extremely easy to apply. And if you leave high spots, you can always wipe them off. Durability of the hydrophobic performance is, you're going to get around about 2 years from that. So yeah, the design brief for this was, so there are a lot of different vinyls and PPFs on the market. Compatibility was an issue, so it had to be compatible with all the mainstream brands. So you got hydrophobic, PPFs with hydrophobic coatings, you got matte, you got satin, you got self-healing. So that was a must. Secondly, application, because particularly with matte and satin films, if you have something that has high spots, that it becomes incredibly hard. You're in a situation and you leave the high spots, somebody maybe is not paying attention, they left some high spots behind, you're going to have to replace the film. So one of the design briefs with this as well was that those high spots, you've got to be able to remove them a long time afterwards. In fact, even 3 days afterwards, you can still remove high spots with this. And then the other thing, obviously, is durability of the hydrophobic performance. We use, I can't remember the number, but it's an ISO and ASTM tests, that it's a 5,000 scrub cycle. So we scrub a surface with a strong wash chemical, so a caustic wash chemical. The standard is getting it to 5,000. We test a lot of different products. The best any other could get to was about 4,300. This was still going at 10,000, and we stopped the test. So durability of this is phenomenal. So it's making that PPF, because as you know, PPF is a relatively porous substrate, so things like bugs and dirt and all kinds of things stick into it much more readily than paint. This is giving you paint-like characteristics on a PPF.
Okay, and then in regards to the application and preparation side of things,
yeah.
So preparing a panel, it's one thing we get asked quite a lot before we put this on.
Yeah.
How do we
you just do a full decontamination, make sure there's nothing on it, and apply the product in areas, I would say no more than about 2 foot by 2 foot. Make sure that you go further when you're buffing the surface off the edge. But I mean, because it's such a forgiving product, and again, this is something we actually had to synthesize new material to make this work, is to make it so that it goes on the surface very easily, but then becomes hydrophobic. You actually have to switch the characteristics of the product as it's curing, and it has a covalent bond. So during that curing process, it turns with very low surface energy, and then suddenly it then has the hydrophobic performance that you're looking for. So application, everybody, feedback we've had on it is, everybody's finding it extremely easy to apply. Yeah.